morning, everyone. It's Sal, Stretford Post. How you all doing? And welcome to another episode of Breaking Dawn. I hope you're doing good. I hope you're doing fine this lovely Wednesday morning, guys. Alive and kicking. That's what it's all about, guys. Absolutely. Now, of course, Manchester United drew 1-1 with West Ham United at the London Stadium yesterday. Again, we failed to win at the London Stadium after 5 years. Again, guys, same old, same old. Now, look, I want to dig into the game real quickly because, of course, I come from a generation where Man United used to get those last-minute goals. You remember when we used to score last-minute winners? We won a treble with last-minute goals. But I think it's very important that we pick the bones about the football match. And it's not about just taking positives, right? We're not going to look at a thing and like, oh, but West Ham were fighting for their life. West Ham were fighting for their life. So are we. We're fighting for Champions League. And my biggest problem with yesterday, and before we start, guys, don't forget to smash a like on the video if you guys can kindly do that for me, and subscribe to the channel if you're new, notifications, all that. Thank you. My biggest problem with it is that the performance was diabolical. Now, I remember times when we used to draw to the likes of West Ham back in the day. We would even lose to West Ham sometimes. We lost the league title to West Ham, as we know. My biggest problem about the whole Man United yesterday was we did not pelter their goal. We were flirting around the box, back, forth, and we struggled to unlock the low block. And we have done this for years. And this is the problem. The only time we looked like scoring was when we brought on Xerxes and when we brought on SESKO and we went gun-ho. We sort of went for it. I was so disappointed that players were not getting the ball into the box. Even when SESKO came onto the pitch, players were not getting the ball into the box, And I think it's very important. Like, smart people will recognize the warning signs. Great, we got a point. Brilliant, right? But smart people recognize the warning signs and they'll see the problems there. I've seen a lot of Man United. I watch Man United. I study Man United at the end of the day. And I watch Man United every single day, right? I watch replays. I watch this and I watch that. And to be honest with you, the performance, I felt it was probably the worst performance of the season. It was. And we have to stop this going into our shell, letting West Ham play. Because when the game started, I was kind of like, I predicted it was going to be like this. I knew it was going to be like this. It's always going to be a tough game at the London Stadium anyway. And I predicted after the first 10 minutes, we're playing badly. This is awful. This is not working. And when some individual players have stinkers, that's when it gets even worse, because we had some players on that pitch were pulling up stinkers, guys, and these are basics of the game. We were not peltering West Ham's goal until we had that disallowed goal from Casemiro. We were not peltering. Then we had the Xerxes miss, but that was when the substitutions came on. With about 5 minutes to go, we started playing. 5 minutes. Why? Now, look, Michael Carrick's been in the job 5 games. I'm not going to judge him. I'm not that guy. I'm not going to judge him for that. But if you want to be a Manchester United manager, you have to show an element of braveness. West Ham did not play well. Only West Ham came to defend. So what Man United needed to do, Man United needed to get the strikers on, get SESKO on, and just get the crosses into that box. That's what they needed to do. Get the crosses into that box. And I guarantee you, if Man United, soon as we went 1-0 down, brought on the substitutions, I think we would have probably won the game in the end. And this is the fine margins in regards to it. We could take the point. Am I positive? I'm positive in regards to we're still 5 games unbeaten, but we've done this all season. Let's not kid ourselves, guys. Let's not be delusional, and let's not have a recency memory here. We beaten Man City away. In 1 year, we beaten Liverpool away, Man City away, Man City again, Arsenal twice. We've beaten all these teams. We know we can beat these teams, but we haven't beaten West Ham. We draw against Wolves. We draw against Bournemouth. We draw against West Ham at home. We draw against what this game reminded me of. It was the Nottingham Forest game at the City Ground, and we drew 2-2, and we got that last-minute goal. We've done this before. We've done this before, and this is the thing. It's not like this is a once in a blue moon thing that I've just seen out of my head, and I'm plucking it out of my head. I'm thinking, oh yeah, this is brand new to me. I've never seen this before. Man United playing so poorly. Oh my God, no. I have expectations. and I have high expectations, especially when you go on this run and you know what, you have an opportunity here because West Ham were there for the taking. I watched West Ham and they were crap. I've gone through replays of the game today, and I felt West Ham were rubbish. In my opinion, I felt West Ham were rubbish. I felt they didn't offer anything. They didn't give anything. They were there for the taking. Legs up, take me, take me. That's what they were at the end of the day. And that's my opinion on that. Good thing about Man United yesterday was one word, which I epitomized with Manchester United throughout my life. Character. Character. Get something from the game. Alex Ferguson always used to say, get something from the game. And we got something from the game. And I guess you can take that and you can say, great, we got that. Fantastic. We take a point, we move on. But these performances that have been happening all season, by the way, need to stop. They need to be eradicated. They need to be deleted from our history. They need to go. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, Man United need to stop these kind of performances. Now, I'm not going to entirely bring it on Michael Carrick, of course, because Michael Carrick's just walked into the job. Is, you know, at the end of the day, and he's analysing it from a point of view where this team has won 4 out of 4. I'm going to keep it like this and that. But everyone could see during the game, SESKO needs to come on. He needs to be substituted on. Most people could see it. He needs to come on. And people said it in the community. Great, fair play to the community. People saying in the community, yeah, we need SESKO on. He's going to cause them problems and blah, blah, blah. Do you know what I mean? And we were saying, yeah, look, we need to change it. And Bremo's not a number 9. You know, at the end of the day, Bremo's a winger. So what we got to do, we got to try and work out how we get these players into the team and how we're more effective and how we can move forward in regards to our scoring abilities with obviously SESKO and stuff like that. But I'm not going to be overly negative. I'm not going to be overly positive. We take the point, we move on. That's life. We drew the game and we take the point and move on. History is history. It's done. We move on. But we got some difficult games to go. And if we perform like that, this is my point, we are not going to get in the Champions League. Let me tell you that right now. Everton would do us. Newcastle would do us. Chelsea would do us. I'm telling you right now, guys, we cannot perform like that again. And I hope that Michael Carrick has a word with those players. Because every single player on that pitch, even if it was the wrong lineup or whatever, it is the lineup that won 4 in a row. And that lineup was the lineup that should be able to defeat West Ham, considering that's the lineup that went to Emirates and won, you know, pretty good as well. We won well as well against Arsenal. So obviously disappointed, relieved in regards to the game and that we rescued a point and we remain unbeaten, of course. But we are being bantered. We are being bantered, guys. People are looking at us and saying, well, look at Man United getting happy over a point. Standards, guys. And that's it. I've been gaslighted into thinking throughout the Ruben Amorim tenure, you know, so we need standards. We need DNA. We need standards. Guys, we were a kick away from drawing against Fulham. We were a non-red card from whatever would have happened against Tottenham. You know, so these are the things that we need to look at, and we need to look at it objectively and subjectively and not just say, yeah, like this. It's not like the old days when we get a point and we take that and we move on. We smash up every other team in our path. It's not like that. You know, this is a performance that is a duplicate of other performances. What we have seen, not only against West Ham, against other teams as well. Now, how can you change this? How can you change the record? How can you make this better? It's the players. It's the squad. It's the mentality. I've been saying it for months and months and months. Years and years and years. Culture at the football club is not there. You can bring in Tuchel. You can bring in Carrick. You can bring in Luis Enrique. The culture at this football club is not where it needs to be. It's not where it needs to be. You know, and I've said this time and time again. We can play against City, Arsenal, Chelsea, Liverpool, but when it comes to the West Hams, the Wolves, the Bournemouths, the Tottenhams, and this and that and the other, right? We fall flat on our face, especially away from home. You know, it's not good enough. It was lethargic. It was lack of ideas, slow, pedestrian, lack of creativity. Everything I dislike about football, I saw yesterday in that team. The only spark was in the last 5 minutes when we came alive. You know, we came alive. Fair play to Xerxes who came on. Fair play to SESKO who came on. And SESKO, guys, is my man of the match. And that tells you everything about it. SESKO is my Man United man of the match. SESKO. He came on for the last 10 minutes. There you go. And that goes to show you everything about you need to know. My second man of the match was Senny Lamens. You know, it was Senny Lamens saved us. And if it wasn't for bad decision-making from West Ham, we would have been long gone in the game, guys. A better quality team, we would have been long gone. You know? We could take the positives. Oh, we didn't lose. Oh, it's fine. We didn't lose. We move on. Yeah, we'll get another result like that if we have that mentality. We'll get another result like that. We need to be awake. And we need to hold standards here, guys. Because we have been gaslighted about standards over the last few months, haven't we? So we need to start, obviously, not flip-flop from one thing to the other. Because at the end of the day, all in all, ultimately, that was the worst performance of the season. Right? And I argue that with anyone. Big up the community. I hope you're all doing well. Welcome to the stream. I hope everyone is blessed. Big up the community, of course. Don't forget to smash a like on the way in, guys. If you guys can do that for me, I hope you're doing well. Hope everyone is blessed, of course, guys. Big up Tyborg, the legend. What's going on? Couldn't reach the game, no problem at all. Draw is not a bad result, considering all the factors. Still undefeated in the calendar year. I said 2-1 win, but I'm not surprised at 1-1. Let's focus on the next one. It is a bad result, Tyborg, considering where West Ham are on the table. They're 18th, and they were there for the taking. For me, it was a poor result. It was a poor result. And context, we played badly and should have lost. That's the context. And obviously, you get positive because if you're used to shit and you have a small, you sprinkle it with a few stardust, yeah, you're going to think, oh, it's better than shit. You know what I mean? At the end of the day. And that's what it is. And that's what Man United did yesterday, in my opinion. And I felt like the performance very lackluster, very slow, tactically inept, which was very disappointing for me as well. I don't want to say overly positive and negative, of course, but 4 wins and a draw in the last 5 games. It's not bad. Of course, it's not bad. But this is the game that we earmarked. Newcastle away, right? We earmarked West Ham as a win. Every one of us. A draw is a bad result. It's a bad result against West Ham. Arsenal win there. Yeah, Arsenal win there. Man City win there. Chelsea win there. Liverpool win there. You know, we don't win there. Top 4 challengers are winning there. We're not winning there. You know, so we got to look at that. We know we could beat Man City and Arsenal. We've done that last year. What about Fulham last minute? Fluked it. What about Tottenham 10 men? I am not convinced yet. I'm not convinced yet. I'm not. I'm that guy who put my chest out and say we come second. I say we come second. I say we come third because of the way the season's going and we have a little bit of momentum. But it's these games that can determine whether you come second, third, fourth, or even 6th, 7th, 8th. Because these performances, when you have this in your nature, when you have this in your blood, these performances will continue to happen. Because this is not the first time, Tyborg. This is again. We've done this over and over again. You know what I mean? Sal, we were awful yesterday. 1 shot after 85 minutes is not good. In-game management was too slow. Carrick seemed too scared to change. Great, we scored, but alarm signs are there. Look, I agree with all bars one here. Big up yourself. Hope you're doing well. Welcome to the channel. I agree that all bars one with all bars one here. Of course, it's not that I don't deal with absolutes. I don't deal with simpleton views of football. It's not all doom and gloom, right? I know that, and I'm going to bring every single part of it to the show. And what I would say is that at the last 10 minutes, we showed Man United. For me, we showed Man United. At the last 10 minutes, we showed Man United. That is Man United. Attack, attack, attack. Cross, cross, cross. That is Man United. And I think that is what we need to replicate in the next games. You know, because the first half performance, 3/4 of the second half performance, I was saying, and everyone was here, saw it, I was saying, this is the worst performance of the season. This is an awful performance. I ain't seen anything like this all season. This is terrible. We couldn't even string 3 passes together. Side, side's losable. Side, losable. That's what it was. You know? Absolutely. Good, big up, man. How you doing? Gutted we didn't win, but it's better than draw than lose, of course. We still have some improvements to do. A lot. West Ham have made it bad to watch. We will bounce back. We've heard this all before, though, Mandem. We've heard it all before. We've heard this. We will bounce back. Will we? You know? Let's see. Let's see. I'm not saying we will bounce back. Am I the oracle of football? We will bounce back. Why? These players have shown you time and time again what they're about. They've shown you. So we got to really not just say, oh, we're very lethargic in our opinions. Oh, it was good. We didn't lose the game. We didn't lose, but we move on. We bounce back. In what world are you living in? Have you been around for the last 5 years, 10 years? This football team of ours, when they want to flip-flop, big content creators, I'm talking about big, serious content creators, Mark Goldbridge, these people, I've said it. Watch them, and you'll see what they say. Because they're watching the same as me. It was awful, lethargic, tactically inept, slow. We got, as I said, if I was to take that game, I would delete it from my history. I wasted my time watching that game in the first 3 quarters. It was only the last 10 minutes that we came alive. But where have we seen this before? Saw it against Forest. We saw it against Fulham when we should have drew against Fulham. We saw, these are the things here. We scored a couple of worldies against Arsenal. We can bring in all the context here. One day we're not going to get that luck. And this is what we're talking about. We need to start dominating games. And this is exactly what we were trying to do under Amram. It didn't work out, I know. But this is exactly what we're trying to do under Amram. We were trying to dominate games. We're not dominating games. This is the reason we had the 3rd big chance XG is because we were dominating games. We were pressing games. And we had the best goal scoring record. One of the best as well. I felt after 60, 70 minutes, that is when SESKO should have come on. Xerxes should have come on and said, okay, we're going to go for it. We rescued a point in the 95th minute by a worldie from SESKO. It was a worldie. It was a great finish. One of the goals of the season for me. The finish was sublime. Absolutely brilliant finish. And that puts to bed the SESKO haters, doesn't it? And I'm positive about that. The rest of it, Carrick, the game, I'm not positive about that yesterday. And I think every single person, when they perform bad, they should be counted out, and it shouldn't be shrugged off with shoulders. Like, we done well. We got a draw. Yeah, we're right. Nah, we don't do that. We don't do that under Amram. We don't do that under Michael Carrick. We don't do that. Hit the like. Thank you so much, man. Then big up anyway. Big up. Good morning, Ephraim. How you doing, my friend? Hope you're doing well. I remembered Makeda came on and won us the game, but why was Ahmad not being subbed off for Lacey? Look, at the end of the day, when you look at the game, like you're mentioning, like the game and Aston Villa, Makeda, when he scored that goal and stuff like that, what was the difference between that team and this team? What was the difference? We probably have better strikers and stuff like that now, but what was the difference? Tactically, we were better. We were peltering Aston Villa's goal until we got the goal. Forward, pelter. We were doing this, right? We would get the ball on the right, pass it in the middle, get the ball, pass it to the left. Ahmad would run, stop, go back, pass back. Ahmad kept doing it. Run, stop, cut in, pass back. He kept doing it time and time again. And we've seen it over and over again. This needs to stop. Ahmad, take on your bloody man or get the ball into the box. Get the ball into box. Take on your man or get to the ball in the box. Now, obviously, nobody played well in that game. I'm not going to single it out in the way it was, but obviously, only SESKO and the men's come out of that game with any inkling of credit. In Bremo with the assist, I'll give him a little bit of credit for that. But other than that, what are we there to look at that we could look at and be positive? We're going to about what makes people think that we are going to bounce back here. What makes you think that? Because we won a few games on a bounce? Because we won a few games which we've done before on a new manager bounce? Let me just not scroll through the history, yeah? And let me not talk about 8 games won in a row with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. We've been here before, haven't we? So I maybe it's PTSD, maybe, I don't know, but I'm going to bring in the facts here, guys. No urgency, passive football. Exactly those words, Kenny. Exactly those words. And if we want to improve, we have to call out these things. We have to call out the no energy, passive football. If we're sitting there, but you know what, we can't. This is the problem with some Man United fans. We can't. We got to take the positives. I've seen it all. I've seen us win every single bloody trophy there is to win. I've seen 13 titles. Name me one Man United fan who I've sat on a panel with, who's seen 13 titles. Name one. No one wants to gaslight. They can interrupt me all they want. Doesn't make it facts. At the end of the day. The fact of the matter is, I've seen these performances before. The performances are not good enough. We saved a point. We rescued a point against a dud West Ham. A dud West Ham. Now, look, I'm going to look at West Ham's results. Okay. Let me just look at West Ham's results now. West Ham, right? They've had a good run recently. But they lost to Chelsea, right? They lost to Chelsea. They lost at home to Nottingham Forest. They drew at home to Brighton. They lost 3-0 to Wolverhampton Wanderers, right? Let's go. They lost at home to Fulham, right? They lost 3-0 to Manchester City. They drew 1-1 with Brighton. They lost 3-2 at home to Aston Villa, right? They lost 2-0 at home to Liverpool. Right? Guys, come on. They drew 2-2 with Bournemouth, good result, right? The only teams, they lost 2-1 to Leeds. The only teams that I look at and they did well there is a couple again, Newcastle and Burnley. They lost 2-1 at home to Crystal Palace. They lost, this is what we're talking about, guys. Yeah, they're capable of the odd moment. They lost 2-0 at home to Brentford. Don't gaslight me, man. You know what I mean? I'm not having this. Like, do not gaslight me. This is the thing. Big teams win there. Fulham won there. 3-0 they lost to Wolves. Yeah, they picked it up recently. They got a win against Burnley. Who doesn't? They lost to Chelsea 3-2. Okay, it's not a bad result, but 3-2. But Man United come out of nowhere with the 1-1 draw. And if Man United want aspirations in being a serious football team, we need to win games like that. And this is the point I'm putting up. This is the issue I'm talking about that people don't want to listen to. Intelligence you have with ears, not just mouth. That's what it is. It's with ears, not just mouth. All right? You've got to listen. Benny, Lacey wasn't on the bench last night. I think he's still a little bit injured, Kenny. Benny, we said it last night. It means we had no urgency. Yes, Benny, and I remember you saying it. I remember you saying it during the game that we got no urgency. We're lethargic. We're slow. This is bad, guys. Let's not rewrite history here. Me, Benny, the whole community were here watching the game yesterday, and we were like, nah, this is crap. We were, guys. Come on, and yeah, we rescued a point. Fantastic, but it's a bittersweet for me because I look at that West Ham side, just like the results I've just pulled up right now. I look at that West Ham side, and they are beatable. They are beatable, Ahmad was awful. He was. A lot of them were awful. And Bremer was awful. Fernandez, our captain Magnifico, was awful. They all were awful, guys. No one, to a man, played well apart from Lamens and SESKO when he came on. That was it for me. And probably Xerxes did all right. The future, we have world-class defenders and Aiden Heaven. Future, brilliant. Look, sorry, I want to give a compliment to Lenny Yoro. Sorry, compliments to Lenny Yoro. Lenny Yoro yesterday saved us. Lenny Yoro yesterday proved why people touted him as one of the best up-and-coming defenders in Europe. Lenny Yoro showed me yesterday that. He saved us yesterday. So fair play to Lenny. Absolutely brilliant from Lenny. And fair play to Licha Martinez, who's the only other player that had an inkling of a decent game. Other than that, it was rubbish. But you know what? Lenny Yoro. I've seen some outlets, guys. I've seen some outlets giving Luke Shaw the man of the match. I've seen them giving Luke Shaw the man of the match. I don't know where to put my head. I might flush it down the toilet. Kenny, my own personal opinion is he's simply not good enough, and I agree Lacey would have made a difference last night. He does. My personal opinion is, Benny, and you have you have my respect, as you know. My personal opinion is that he's a substitute player for me. He comes across as a substitute. He screams to me substitute. That's what he does. When the game gets a little bit, the legs start tiring from the opposition team, he looks like a player that can come off the bench, and come off the bench and do a job. I think that. Sal, this team still can't play. Big up Metal, by the way. This team still can't play every 4 days. And Carrick needs to start with a proper focal point against the low block. Well played, Metal. Simple, isn't it? Simple. When you see the low block, you don't play the false number 9 business. Everyone and his dog can see this. When you play against the low block, you do not play a false number 9 because you're not going to score. You're not. You need someone in the box, and you need to get those crosses into that player. I've watched football years and years and years. I've seen Man United do it time and time again. Get those balls into the box. Get that focal man up front, and get the balls into the box because they're playing low block. All you have to worry about is their counter-attack, right? You have to knock down the wall. Keep knocking, and knock down the wall. That's when you're playing against the low block. This is what you have to do. You have to knock down the wall and make sure, you know what I mean? You knock it down, and we did. And I don't think they're that strong. I really don't. Sal, it's frustrating. The mad thing is West Ham was not that good. We'd give SESKO a chance. Look, guys, people are looking at West Ham. They had a couple of results recently, but I'm looking at their home record, and I'm looking at 3-0, 2-0 against Brentford, 3-0 here against Wolves and stuff like that. And I'm saying, no. Hold on. Hold your horses. We should be winning that game. I'm not going to be like a guy where I'm going to be doom and gloom. We didn't lose the game. Fabulous. But I am calling out the alarm signals, the red flags, whilst I see them. If I see red flags, I will call the red flags. If I see positivity, boy, oh boy, I'm the first one to jump to the moon. You know me. But at the end of the day, I see red flags. Those red flags were there. Yesterday, I saw those red flags, and I will not be gaslighted in thinking, you know what I mean? No, you got to take it easy. It's all right. You got to look at what Carrick is doing. They've been there 5 games. Who cares? 5 games. It's Man United. I don't give a shit. 20 games. 50 games. Who cares? At the end of the day, same performances as we've seen years and years and years. Sal, how many points have we dropped? Like off the cuff, Benny. Off the cuff. Nottingham Forest, 2 points. That was a draw. West Ham, we've lost 4 points to West Ham in the last month. Wolves, 1-1. That's 6 points. Bournemouth, 4-4. That's 8 points. Who else is there? Come on. Tottenham, we drew away. That's 10 points. These are off the cuff, guys. Who else did we drop? We lost to Aston Villa. I'm not going to count that. So we got 10 points so far. I'm counting 10 points so far. 10 points. That is just in this last kind of what I can remember. So when we go even more, we should go further. There's other games that we drew as well that we should have won. Brentford, we lost. We shouldn't have lost that. That's another game that we lost. Just off the cuff, I've just given 10 points. Off the cuff. I think we can still solve the dead performances with better players on the bench who are hungry and have impact. Just a better squad in general. We need a better squad in general. We need a better because obviously we're not good enough. We have to look at things from a mixture of things, Coco. Big up Coco, by the way. We have to look at things from a mixture. We have to look at things from all points of view. I personally think there's a number of things wrong with Man United. I think we got players there who believe they're good enough, but they're not good enough. That's what I see. I think there are players at Man United who believe they're good enough, but they're not good enough. And that's what I would say about that, We are mostly getting bantered because of the fans who didn't cut it and join to West Ham, Big up, Gregory. How you doing, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Hope you're doing good. Good to see you. Good morning, everyone. Embremo shouldn't have started. If he should have started, it should have been in place of Ahmad. You saved yourself there, Sniper Man. I agree with Sniper Man here. Embremo should have been on the right. Ahmad should have been dropped. SESKO should have played up front. I said this before the game. I said it. Many of the community said it before the game. I would have played SESKO up front, Embremo on the right, Fernandes, and obviously Cunha. But obviously, what I would say this, because I'm not some sign of oracle genius, guys. I'm not arrogant. I'm a humble guy from humble beginnings. And I would say this, right? Hindsight's a beautiful thing. We're all geniuses in hindsight. But I understood why Michael Carrick picked the team. I understood why he didn't want to change it. But then most of the community and most of they spoke the truth. Maybe he needs to change it up a little bit because when Alex Ferguson was manager, and I hate hyping on about Alex Ferguson, but when Alex Ferguson was manager, he would shock you. He would play a player that you didn't expect. You'd be like, "Whoa, he's dropped Beckham. Whoa, he's dropped Giggs." He'll do stuff, but you're like, "Oh." To keep the players on their toes. And I wanted to change because I was looking at West Ham. I think West Ham are going to play a low block. I think it's better we play SESKO. It's different when you're playing at Old Trafford. But when you're playing away from home, you have to have a focal point, a man up front in the middle who can make that difference. I don't care about West resting him, nurturing him to team. He fucking costs 70 million. I'm not on that. You know what I mean? He needs to be in the team. He's a grown-ass man and play football at the end of the day. I'm tired of people saying, we're going to nurture him in the team. At the end of the day. It's just stupid, guys, honestly. And I felt like tactically we got it wrong. Tactically, we're going to win. And I could see, and many of the community could see, after about half an hour, this is bad. You know, we got to make changes now. I felt changes should have made in the second half. I thought straight away in the second half when we came out, changes should have been made. We might not have lost the game. Sanjay, thank you so much, guys. Let's get to 50 likes. Absolutely, guys. Morning, Marcus. How you doing? Morning, bruv. Hate to say it, but Night's already out for Carrick. You should see the chatter and the comments online. Look, I'm not going to overreact. I'm not that guy who's going to overreact. Look, he's coming to the football club. He's had 5 games. He hasn't had much time. But I would like to think that he's recognised the problems at Man United that have been going on for a long, long time. He knows, right? Yesterday showed us a lot of things, and I hope that Carrick looks at this and sees this and sees the errors, right? And sees who's playing and who's not playing, right? Because these players are manipulators. I've said it many, many times. These players are manipulators. These players are liars. They lie. They're the biggest liars there is. They'll train brilliantly in training. They'll do this. They'll win a couple of games. And then, bang, they have a West Ham. You know? Without SESKO, we lose that game. Without ill decision from West Ham, we lose that game comfortably. This is what we're talking about. We're not hating on Carrick. We're not dissing him. We're not saying he's crap. We're not saying this. But again, what did I say all week last week? Calm down. Keep our feet on the ground. Calm down. I kept saying it. Calm down. You know, because at the end of the day, West Ham are not the toughest team we're going to play from now until the end of the season. And all those teams that we're going to play have something to play for. Right? And this is the thing. You know, so this game I earmarked, and I looked at this game and I said, this is the game that Man United need to win. This game is the game that Man United need to win. This is one of the ones I ticked off, win. Right? Everton, win. West Ham, win. We move on from there. Let's not move the goalposts. And that's what we, you know, most of us agree with. Have to beat West Ham. Have to beat West Ham. And I think most of us agree with that. Big up, Marcus. Lamens was the only candidate for man of the match besides SESKO. Absolutely, Gregory, you think like me. Again, what does that tell you, Gregory? What does that tell you? That Senny Lamens and a man who came on for 10 minutes was the man of the match. I would like to say Yoro, when he came on, did very well. I want to give respect to Yoro, by the way. Big respect. And a little bit to Licha, because Licha saved us a couple of times. You know? That tackle from Yoro at the end saved us a point. It saved us a point. 4 games of time, but losses, then we will do well in the league table. If United can go for, we won't though, mate. We won't. Because this won't happen every single time, this 4 wins in a row. This is a freak of nature. We were lucky against Fulham. We were lucky against Tottenham. Tottenham were down 10 men. You know, we beaten Man City and Arsenal before. It would be lovely if we did that, but I don't think we're going to do that. I don't. I think we draw a lot. Look at it from this point of view. Do you think we're going to go to Stamford Bridge and win? Do you think we're going to go to Newcastle and win? Do you think we're going to play Liverpool at home and win? These games, right? We can go on and on and on. Aston Villa, are we going to win? You know, these are tough games. I hope we do. But football doesn't work like that. If we can get these many results, if this is that, if I had wheels, I'd be a bike. I said it yesterday. You know, if we can. Yesterday showed me red flags. It showed me red flags. It showed me alarm bells. They were ringing in my head because I've seen this before. This is not a one-off. This is not a one-off, guys. This is not, oh, wow, why Man United playing like this? I've never seen this before. This has happened before, you know. Great teams find a way to win. Dalot is still a problem. I agree with that. Dalot was absolutely awful. Marcus, to be fair, Carrick, I noticed at one point he only had 2 defenders in the back, so sure, coming back. Yes, I love that about Carrick. And as I said, Marcus, I will not come on here and be doom and gloom. You know, I'm not like those other man-dem minions. I'm not going to come in here and switch on Carrick like that. I didn't do it with Ruben Amorim. But what I will do is say, what could have contributed to Man United winning that game yesterday? And this is my thing. I look at from winning. I don't believe in drawing and that and getting happy about it. You know, this is not the Champions League. That is not an away goal, you know, at the end of the day. So I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, what can we do to make things better? What can we do to fix this, you know, at the end of the day? Best of luck to everyone at Ramadan. Of course, Ramadan, Kareem, to everyone who's going to be celebrating Ramadan next week, I believe it is, inshallah. Prince, big up. I appreciate Manchester United fans for their unwavering support, but the big issue is facing teams with low blocks. And Prince, how many times have we said this? We sound like a broken record, don't we? We talk about it again and again, and we're not calling out the elephant in the room. We're not talking about it. We're just trying to bring positives. We're trying to paint a turd. We're trying to fill it with glitter. You know, it's ridiculous. Absolutely, Prince. Big up, Prince. I count only 60 points against the bottom 6, and that's just not including losses. That's a mentality thing. Worst performance of the season. Benny, thank you. Thank you. Benny's on my page here. Benny's on my page. Me and Benny, we and most of the community, we've been here all season. You know, we've lost against Brentford and these teams, you know, at the end of the day. We've lost a lot of points. I just count. Look, guys, let's, for example, we beat Everton. Oh, let's not forget Everton, 10 men. Everton, 10 men. Again, another one. Everton, that should be 3 points against 10 men. You got Wolves, that was a draw. Bournemouth, that was a draw. West Ham, that was a draw. Right? Now West Ham a draw again. You know? Only positives you say is SESKO's thing, absolutely. Big up, Neil. What's going on, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Good to see you. Morning, lad. Hope you're good. As long as we're fighting to the end and something they can build on, a lot to work. You're right on. I'm sure that sure will be sold. We need some proper mids in the win next week. Absolutely, Neil. The squad is not good enough. I come on here actually feeling sorry for Michael Carrick in one way, because I'm looking at the team. I'm looking at Casemiro, and I'm looking at the team, and Casemiro's a generational. And I'm looking at him, and I'm thinking he's tired. He's tired. He needs to get off. He can't play 2 games in a week. He can't. And this is what we were saying. We need signings. And this is something that the drum that we keep banging on, that, we had the January transfer window and we didn't utilize the January transfer window. It's just disappointing, absolutely. You're not going to get that Sal Warner commercial club. Only way with the Glazers out. We leave players long till they become goated. Absolutely. I agree with Neil. Big up Neil, by the way. Oh my God, they killed Kenny, you bastards. Big up Kenny. What happened with Kenny? Kenny's not happy. Glazers out, absolutely, all day long, every day. Yeah, Euro 2 world-class tackles saved us the game, absolutely. We'll have games like this, even some losses. We already know what this team is about. And that's and I don't want it to cost us a bloody Champions League position. That team there yesterday, United them, were good enough to beat West Ham. And that's what I would say. They're good enough to beat Arsenal, City. They're good enough to beat those teams. Chelsea, Liverpool away. They're good enough to do that. This is a character mentality thing. Absolutely. This is a character mentality thing. They raise their game when they want to. Play when we want. Flip-flop FC. Sal, I agree. The moment Lacey would be a perfect impact player last 20 minutes, we would have a perfect. I think Ahmad would be. I would start Lacey. Honestly, I'll be honest. With the ball and box, get the low block. Yes, that's what you do. Gregory, we've been raised on football. We know how to. Man United, I was raised on teams playing the low block against Man United when we were really good. Teams used to come at Old Trafford and they used to give 2 banks of 4. You know what I mean? Like there and sit back. That's what they used to do. What did Man United do? What did Man United do? They get the ball in the wing, whip it in. Not even a second thought. Whip it in. And then you've got obviously players, Dwight York, Andy Cole, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, Sheringham, in that box. Paul Scholes coming from deep, running into that box. That is what they do. Scare them. Whip it in. We don't need to take you on. We'll whip it in. And then eventually, right, you'll start getting spaces. And Giggs will have space. And you'll start running up and down. Beckham will have more space. And then we finish off the game. And that's what used to happen. These red flags are there for the last 3 games. The same old unreliable players. They have been Shakti, but people are refusing to see this Shakti, my friend. People are refusing to see the red flags. They don't want to see it. It's blindfolded. They don't want to see it. SESKO, guys, and I've been called out to SESKO, saved us against Fulham. He saved us against West Ham. SESKO should start next game against Everton, Leeds, we drew. Leeds. Look how shit Leeds were against Arsenal the other week. Look how crap they were. Absolutely. Everton, yeah. Slice of sip. Big up Slice of sip. Absolutely. Nazar Mazri should start ahead of Diego Dalot. Agreed 100%, Samuel. Fulham. You see this? How many points is that? We're going up to 15 to 20 points here, guys. We'd be top of the league. This is the thing. This is not a new thing. Oh, you've got to be happy with the point. You be happy. You be happy with a point. I'm content. Happy. Forest Bennett leads. Absolutely. Forest in his 16th. Absolutely. We drew. I'm just disappointed as everyone else, but rescuing that point is crucial considering Chelsea were 2-0 lead. Yeah, it was very crucial, but luckily Chelsea drew as well. We're lucky. Angela Stiller, Gregory, we know who Angela Stiller is. I think most of the community know who Angela Stiller, Gregory. No need to copy and paste anything on this channel, Gregory. We know about Angela Stiller. I mentioned Angela Stiller before Angela Stiller came a thing, and so did a lot of this community. Also, Sal, I told you that before, Gregory. Before the game, we discussed shaking the lineup, toes and dates. So, yeah, we did. And I thought we should have. Robert, good morning. How you doing, my friend? Hope you're doing well. It was going to be a hard game. At least we didn't lose. It's not good enough, though. Our defense lack pace when we face counter-attacking. We need Euro type of defenders. Maguire is not the pace defender. Agreed. I still believe Michael Carrick is a solid choice for the position of manager. We realize we have to wait and see. Let's not jump, Gregory. Let's not jump. Let's wait and see. Let's wait and see to the end of the season. We'll wait and see till the end of the season. Hey, Sheep, what's going on, my guy? Thank you so much for your super chat, brother. Really appreciate you, my bro. Thank you. Carrick can't see the forest from the trees. Deluded. He was wrong yesterday. And this is why I said we can't jump and say, let's give Carrick the job. Let's give Carrick the job. I give him the job tomorrow. No, we can't do that. We have to be critical in everything we do. Because this is Man United's future at stake. That's what it's about. This is Man United's future at stake. Absolutely. He got it wrong yesterday. And I think it's okay to admit that. What did he get wrong? All right. I'm not going to blame him about the lineup because we won 4 in a row. And I said at the beginning of the game, I don't blame him for the lineup. I don't blame him for that. What I blame him for is the lack of urgency in changes. That's what I blame him for. Right. And he should have made the changes earlier. And maybe, hypothetically, whatever, we might have won that game, at the end of the day. I was very nervous on the game yesterday. I know that. Thank you, Black Sheep, for your super chat and your generosity, my friend. I was very nervous at the game yesterday. I know that it was a test for us. So we couldn't get through their defense. I still believe Carrick winning more games. He will win more games. He will win, but we also have games like that where we draw and lose. Gregory, Scholes would whip it into the front line to Roy Keane. Exactly. And it's not just whipping from the wing. Gregory, it's not just whipping from the wing. It's whipping from central positions. You can whip that ball from central positions into the bodies and cause havoc. Just in the middle, if you move the ball into that middle of the pitch and you bend it, you whip it. One of the key characteristics about Roy Keane when he was playing for Man United, he used to pass the ball very quickly. He used to get that ball, baff, straight into the player's feet because. You got to move that ball quickly. Yesterday, we were not moving the ball quickly. We were slow. We were lethargic. We were passing around. We were not moving the ball quickly. Metal. United's biggest strength is their combination play between the lines. Nuno's game plan was clearly to shut down those spaces and make it almost impossible for them to link up around the box. This is where great management comes in. This is where it comes in. This is where this is where good managers have decided. When in moments like this, they find a way. They find a way in moments like this. Absolutely. Black Sheep. Again, on the players, everything too slow, lethargic, not urgency. That starting 11 was good enough to win the game. They decided not to bother. The same old story last 10 years. Thank you, Benny. Benny's on my page. I know. Benny knows. That's what disappoints me. I didn't see. If I watched the game yesterday, I'm the most confident and the most positive Man United fan there is. If I saw hope in that performance, I would call out hope, even if we lost, right? If we pelted their goal, we hit the crossbar, we hit the post from minute 1 to the end of the game, and I'll be like, well, you know what, we were unlucky. Now, I would only look at the positives from a point of view of last 10 minutes. The last 10 minutes, we were unlucky. But again, so were West Ham. You know, and that's what I was looking at. So West Ham. West Ham could turn around, and West Ham could say, "Oh well, we were lucky. We missed some chances. We missed a 1-on-1 at the end of the game. A great tackle from Euro." You know, Mandem. We've been saying this. People really got giddy and started saying that Carrick supposedly turned water into wine with these players. We know these players. What were they about? Yeah, Light Switch FC, Mandem. Light Switch FC. Oh, you know, it's a Tuesday night in London. It's cold. I can't bother. Sort of mentality. That's how it is. I'm honest. And only when we concede, we start to think, oh, shit. We got to start going forward. We might lose this game. You know, because half of the game, 3/4 of the game, we were zombifying our way through it. We were zombifying our way through the game, you know? We may go on a run. Let's see. We need one. We've got some more difficult games to come in. That's a perfect opportunity now for Carrick to shake up the lineup. No excuses. It's how you react when you're down. Let's see what the boys will do. Marcus, exactly. Will he change it? Or will he play the same lineup? Look, I look at Everton game. Next game is our Everton game. And I look at the West Ham game last night. West Ham we have to confirm it now, guys. West Ham are our bogey team right now. They've taken the mantle from Tottenham. West Ham are currently our bogey team. Sad as it is, guys. Sad it is as it is. We don't win at the London Stadium. Prince, I think a big improvement will be winning against a low block team. Prince, I agree. But one thing, what do we take this from, Prince? What do we take from it? When we look at it, we always have to take something positive. We always have to learn something. What did we learn? We learned, we didn't, but I hope Carrick did, that when you play against a low block, you need a focal point. You don't need a false number 9. You need a focal point. You need balls whipped into that box continuously. Whipped into that box continuously. That's how you get rid of the low block. Gregory, remember watching Roy Keane? That is his problems with Michael Carrick are about Carrick's wife and insults he felt 14 years ago. Keno is just holding on to an old grudge. I don't know. I just look at Keane as a player. That's all I care about. He was a world-class player. You know, better than any of these players. These next 12 days are going to be so long. I mean, why are Man United playing in 12 days, guys? That's another thing. Why are Man United playing in 12 days? We could have played at the weekend. Everton are not in the FA Cup. We could have played at the weekend. I don't understand why Man United are not playing at the weekend, you know. Marcus, if SESKO wasn't a footballer, he'd be in the NBA. His vertical is on par with top NBA players. He was, I think, Marcus. I think he was an NBA player. Good Lord, cross that shit out of the ball and get SESKO on the pitch. Facts. Why aren't we doing that? Ahmed don't cross. You know, it's like when people talk about your carriers, right, of Arsenal. Arsenal don't cross. When they do cross, your carriers gets on the end of it. But Arsenal don't cross, you know? As much as West Ham played a low block, Carrick also did get it wrong with the selections and timing of subs. Yes. Since it's the 5th game in charge, I'll wait for the Everton game. Look, he's new, Mandem. As I said, I'm not the Mandem minions. I'm not going to jump and I'm not going to scream and say, get him at my club abroad. He has to learn from it, Mandem. And he has to learn from it and he has to understand that you have to find a way in games. And even if it goes against what you believe, even if it goes against what we've been doing for the last few months, you have to change it sometimes. You can't keep keeping the same formation, the same tactics, rah-de-rah-de-rah. If it's not working, it's not working. Great managers would have changed it after 60 minutes and said, right, we need to change this. This is not working. You know, that's what they would have done. Great managers would have done that. We didn't, sadly. I feel like it's a missed opportunity. I feel like we missed the opportunity to win that game. Shaw was awful again. Some people said he's bloody man in the match. Can you believe that? I can't believe that. I thought I was reading some madness. Shaw was awful, so slow and lethargic in possession. He probably killed 10 minutes of the game on his own. And somehow some outlets are calling him man in the match. Metal, I can't believe it. People think I'm lying, guys. You think I'm lying? Look at this. Look at this. This is FOT, yeah? F-O-T. Right? This is F-O-T, right? And I'm going to say this, guys. Who was their man in the match? Who was it? Luke Shaw was their man in the match. Luke Shaw was the man in the match there. Man in the match. Look on FOT Mob. I couldn't believe it. Could not believe it. I could not believe it. Absolutely. SESKO should have started yesterday. You could clearly see that they tried crossing, but there was not only one in the box. Yeah, and Bremo's not a striker. He's not a number 9. He could play in some. He could play there in some games, but he's not a number 9. You need a focal point. The change that everyone needs to make, that we need to make, Ahmad on the bench and Bremo on the right. You can rotate Ahmad within Bremo. That's what needs to happen. SESKO up front. That's what needs to happen. You know? And I hope that Michael Carrick saw that. Absolutely. We definitely need a top quality left winger. Big up, my friend. We do. Dabizas, we do. Absolutely. We miss Luke Dorgu, by the way, as well. Short and Dalla are both beyond their sell-by date. Absolutely. You said we'll get second place. We can still get second place, Boxer. Your mum said you'll be a success in life, but you're not. But that's life, isn't it? Ephraim. Sal, Shaw said fireability yesterday. We need left back in the summer. Agreed, Ephraim. Absolutely. Most of the team looked fatigued. They did yesterday. Didn't you notice? I said it. We said it during the game. Man United looked tired. We said it early as well. You know? We look tired. Top-notch chatters on Stretford Post are knowledgeable and informed. Sal got no fluff. All facts. Keep up the good work, brother. Thank you, brother. You too, Marcus. Love, brother. Big up yourself all day long. Not only FootMob, there are numerous of them that mention Shaw as man of the match. Mad. I looked at it and wondered, do these people watch a different game when United plays? Because I don't know. I think he's got this incredible PR team around him. You know? He's got his credible PR team. And, you know, at the end of the day. Look, are we going to come second? I think we still can. It's going to be hard now because we need to win games against West Ham. But you never know. But I did say second or third. So I do believe Aston Villa are going to drop out. I've said it from the beginning. I think Aston Villa will drop out. I think Liverpool will get in. And I think Aston Villa will drop out. Sal, you had that laughing at someone's mum saying they would be successful someday. No offense. Sal got me laughing hard with that one about someone's mum saying they would be successful someday. No offense. Man, I don't like people coming out there. You said this, you said that, hold that. That's not my mentality, Gregory. And if people come on this channel and they try with that stuff, I will get it. It'll be shut down. Shut down, guys. You know? Shut down. Boxer, are you deaf? Are you deaf? Are you deaf? We can still come second. I'm not retracting from that. I said second or third. Are you deaf or dumb? What are you, or both? I don't know. Dabizas, it's a relief that Chelsea drew 2. Absolutely is. It is. We were lucky. Thank you, Leeds, by the way. Thank you, Leeds United, by the way. Yeah, guys, I still believe that Man United could come second. We're February, fuck's sake. You know what I mean? These people are going on and on. We said second last week. You know? Hope Carrick got an idea how to play against Everton. He has 2 weeks. I agree, Dabizas. I hope he learns, of course. Ephraim. On this world-class, Luke Shaw is world-class rubbish. He's not world-class. Luke Shaw hasn't been a class defender. Not world-class. Never been world-class. But he's never been a very good defender for 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 years. I don't think. He's had his moments, but it's about time we move on from the likes of Luke Shaw. It's about time. You know what I mean? About time we move on from the likes of Luke Shaw. And I used to like Luke Shaw. I'll be honest. I did. I used to like Luke Shaw back in the day when we first signed him. Based on the momentum we've had, the way that other teams are dropping points and the free competitions, it's not crazy for Sal to say we finished either second or third. It's not, Mandem. It's not. And it's not over, Mandem. Who said the league ends now? When the Champions League comes, when the FA Cup comes, when the League Cup final comes, you know what I mean? This is what we're talking about, Mandem. People just want to come on this channel and just say, oh, I thought you said we're going to do this. Listen. You might learn something. Look, guys, I like constructive opinions. That's what it is at the end of the day. You know, I like constructive opinions. I like people coming here and give a good opinion, not just coming here in this smugness. Woke up in the morning, you know what I mean? Looked outside, you know what I mean? Thought, oh, shit, my life's shit. I'm going to say something shit on Sal's stream, you know? Metal. Sal, what I'm really worried about is that we won't have a strong enough squad to handle midweek games of Champions League football next season. Absolutely. And that is where negativity affects our league form. I agree, Metal. We will get knocked out the Champions League with this squad. I look at them, right? We could get through that group. I mean, Tottenham got through that group, crying out loud. You know what I mean? We'll get through the Champions League group, But we're not going to get further in that Champions League when we get to the latter stage with this squad. We need transfers. You know what I mean? Benny. Hopefully Villa will get Dipper's drop points tonight. Might not be all bad. Fingers crossed. Most of them just here. They don't listen. Boxer is not listening. It's not about being bad or good. It's not being bad or good. It's about a poor performance yesterday. That if we do that again, we won't come second. We got capabilities. Do you want me to draw you a picture, Box? I can draw you a picture if you want me to. If that's easier for you to understand. We can get second, but we're not going to get second like that. We can get second if we play like we played in the last 4 games. We are not going to get second if we play like last night. Comprende? Is that okay? All right? And this is something that if you listen, you might actually learn, mate. Yeah? All right? Gregory, it's coming up upon 2 in the morning and a time. I have no idea I can calm my mind. Big up, Gregory. Love my friend. You're absolute legend, of course. I love the EPL. The parity is on par with the NFL. When you prop up revenue sharing, it evens out the playground. Look at other top European leagues. Nowhere close to the competition. The Premier League is, it needs to be run better, definitely. If you know, you know. Big up, Marcus. Absolutely. We need Sunderland to smash Liverpool today. I think it's going to be a draw. I've got a feeling for that game. I think it's going to be a draw. I think that'd be like a 2-2 draw, something like that. I'm looking at that game and I'm thinking 2-2 draw. That's what I'm looking at the moment. I'm not looking at the game and thinking that anyone is going to smash. Sunderland have not lost at home this season, so that is a little bit of shining light in regards to that. Sunderland have not lost at home this season, so that's good. However, it might be their first today, so we don't know. You know what I mean? You know, but we definitely, FM, need Sunderland to do a business on them. Guys, and people are writing off Brentford, you know. Let me just say something about Brentford. Brentford are level on points with Liverpool. Right? Brentford are level on points with Liverpool. You know? I'm not upset at 1 point. I'm content with 1 point, Boxer. You're not listening. Boxer, one more time, brother. You're going to go, man. You're going to go. Honestly, you're never going to be here again, mate. Listen. I'm not upset with 1 point. I'm content with 1 point. I'm giving you the birds and the bees about football, which you don't understand, right? At the end of the day, you know, you have low standards. I have high standards. That's different. You know what I mean? At the end of the day. Yeah. So there you go. I think Sunderland will get a point, mate, at least. But I think that Liverpool will bounce back today. I've got a feeling that it's going to be a game like 2-2, even a 3-3, something like that. I've got a really funny feeling about that game tonight. I've got a funny feeling about that game. I don't think Liverpool will win. Unless there's a VAR or a red card or something like that, I don't think Liverpool will win. You know? I don't. At the end of the day. In my opinion, I don't think Liverpool will win. But yeah, we move on. We got 2 weeks now until we play Everton. Now, if we draw that game, then there. Why are their eyes on? Why they are on the Glinios in the summer? They had to get it right because at some point we'll have to play EPL, Carabao Cup, FA Cup, Champions League group games. The squad has to be solid. Yeah. I said it yesterday, Mandem, that we need about 8 players. You know, we need about 8 players. You know, at the end of the day, and at least because we're losing about 10, Mandem. Potentially, we're losing about 10 players. We've already lost a lot of players over this last year and they haven't been replaced. You know, we brought in 4 players last year in the summer only. Sal, De Zerbi is a serious red flag for me. I agree. Now that he's available, I just hope Ineos don't get tempted for him. I agree. He's the last man I'll go for right now. Out of the candidates, he's the last man. I'll go Carrick before him. Like I said, guys, I said the only way I'm going to give Carrick the job is if there's nobody else available. And he does well in the season. The only manager that I would look at, and say, you have to give him the job is Luis Enrique. The only one I would say, you have to give him the job. You know, that's the only one who can challenge it for me is Luis Enrique, you know, at the end of the day. But it's not about the point yesterday. It's about the performance. We can draw games. Man United drawn games before. But there's a way to draw games. When you draw games, and obviously some people don't understand this. They think very, very one-dimensional. You can draw a game, but you pelted their goal. You were unlucky. We should have won. And that happened many times in Man United. You know? You can draw games and you fluke it. You fluke it, a draw, and you play terribly. There's a difference between that. There's a difference between that. And I think this is what people need to understand. It's not just about, oh, we drew and I want to win. I'm up. No, it's about the performance that we gave. It was awful. We had one shot on target in 80 minutes against West Ham. That is the problem right there. It's not the draw so much. You can draw games. That's life. It's that one shot in 80 minutes. You know? Dabby's asked, Tuchel was watching the game yesterday. What do you make of that? Looking for England. I think he's looking at England more than anything. He's looking at players for England. I think he's looking at Luke Shaw. England should never get Luke Shaw. Never pick Luke Shaw. Lewis Hall should be there. I had to correct myself the other day to avoid calling it the Carling Cup, the Worthington Cup. Gregory, the Worthington Cup. United Mandem. I'm also with the Enrique thing. I've been calling for that. It's rare getting a chance to sign a manager like him. When we get Champions League, they should really work on getting him on board. I agree, United Mandem. He's the only one I look at, and I think he has the charisma, tactical awareness, and all that shebang to make him a good manager for Man United. However, what I would say, Mandem, is that no matter if it is Carrick, no matter if it's Tuchel, no matter if it's Luis Enrique, if they're not being backed by the board, we're on a road to nowhere. Because let's not pretend that Amorim wasn't one of the biggest prospects in Europe. Let's not pretend that Erik ten Hag wasn't one of the best prospects in Europe, managerial-wise. If we get a manager, they need to be back to the hill and back with their players. They don't need Jason Wilcox in their ear talking that rubbish. You know what I mean? They don't need him in their ear, blah, 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 blah. You know? At the end of the day, guys. For me, no. For me, no. Lewis won't come to United because he already knows he won't be back properly, and United and will go for the easy Carrick. But I think Enrique is the only man that manages us now. He's the only one I want. Will we get him? Probably not. You know, but he's the only one I want. If it's not Carrick, if it's De Zerbi or Tuchel, I might as well just keep Carrick. You know, just the way it is. Tuchel was probably thinking about that, what he could improve in our first team. He's there for the England squad, mate. He's an England manager. Also, people should remember that Everton will play a mid to low block against us. Difference between them and West Ham is that their counter-attacks is more efficient, man. Them. Thank you, mate. People are not looking at this. I don't mind drawing games. It's not about drawing games. I've said it. I'm going by performances here. We give that performance against Everton, right, in 2 weeks. We are not beating Everton. Then suddenly you're looking at 2 games without a win. You know what I mean? And this is what I'm talking about. So we need to lay the gauntlet down. And we need to call these things out when we need to call them out. You know what I mean? At the end of the day. I don't think any manager could survive with this board. Robert, you're probably right, Robert. You're probably right. They're not going to give him the power. They're not going to give him the tools to succeed, are they? You know, and that's the biggest problem. You know, I would say. Sal, a coach always coaching, a manager is always managing. Yeah, it's true. Look, we move on. The result is the result, guys. We move on to the Everton game, of course, and hopefully we win. Hopefully we win against Everton. We have to now because we don't want to go 2 games without a win, do we? We got this. Look, you know what they call this part of the season, guys? I've said it many times. The business end of the season. They call it the business end of the season for a reason. It's about getting results now, you know, at the end of the day. And if we play like that again, we're not getting any more results, guys. Let me just say that. You know, we'll lose more than we'll draw and lose more than we win. You know, so we got now, 12 games to go? It's a big 12 games, guys. A massive 12 games coming up. Absolutely. Notice when we won 4 in a row, the Glazers out chance and movement went silent. Not me, though, man. You know me. Not me. I went on and on and on. Yeah. We get too giddy too soon. We get too happy too soon. We get so happy that we're celebrating a draw against West Ham. Justifying it. And we're justifying that performance last night. Some people are trying to justify that performance last night. You know? And I'm one of the most giddy, enthusiastic, positive Man United fans there is. And I'm not positive about that performance. I may be positive, but I'm not stupid. You know, and this is the thing. Some people are damaging. They're damaging to the football club. You know, they're damaging. Guys, thank you for joining me today. I really appreciate it. Big up the legends in the chat. Don't forget to smash a like, guys, on the way out, please. Let's get to 50 by today, guys. If you could do that for me, that'd be absolutely fantastic. Really appreciate it. Passionate chat. Love it. Guys, have a great day. I'll be back later on for Chatterbox, of course. Don't forget to join me for that. Guys, and don't forget to put your notification on when I do go live, if I go live anywhere else. Guys, thank you so much. Have a great day, and I'll see you soon. You know, we move on. Peace.